Streaming cyberspace into your place, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League. From Richmond Motor Speedway, it's the Virtual Grip Networks live as it happens. Well, it's round 15 of the Skitter Creek Modified Series, and it is season 15. Hey, there's a new sheriff in town, and the chest behind the badge breathes familiar air. Yes, he'd laid down the law before, and his return finds him sitting as tall in the saddle as ever, with a draw just as quick and an aim just as true. He is four-time champion, Dalton Williamson. He comes to town to restore order and bring justice to the man who has terrorized this series in his absence. They call that man Teapot, and he is the Liberty Valance of the RLR. When Eric Stout rode to town, the women folk would hide. They'd hide when Eric Stout walked around. The men would step aside, 'cause the point of his car was the only law that Teapot understood. When it came to racing straight and fast, he was mighty good. But the story is not over yet, and as the sun sinks below the western horizon, there is still 3 loaded chambers. Will they fall Eric Teapot Stout, or will he once again dodge the bullets to defend his championship once again? To find out, pull the lever on the Lazy Boy and settle in for Tour Modifieds at a Virginia short track. A warm Old Dominion holo and welcome on this Thursday night, May 7th, 2026. The institution, J.R. Shepard, joins yours truly, Bill Soupson, high up in the VGN broadcast booth to bring you our words eye view. As always, Lowell Jewell, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders. All right, partner, what can you tell us about this place?
So tonight's going to be fun for these drivers in the Tour Modified, a car that's different than what they normally run each week. And we are at Richmond Raceway, a 3/4 of a mile D-shaped oval, where its best characteristic is that it offers a wide range of racing lines. That means that tonight these drivers will be able to move around and search for the perfect line to attempt to make a pass. That is what this track is, or this is, excuse me, why this track is so great. It's why drivers love it so much. The driver can make a big difference in finding speed. Even so, I believe tonight's going to be about knowing when to give and when to take these modifieds. They will provide some big runs and even offer some slight drafting on a track of this size. But if you take that run at the wrong time, you could end up with a damaged race car and an end to your night, not what you need late in the season. The other thing I want to watch for tonight, though, will be the tire wear on the rear of these cars. Too much throttle early in the run could have you slipping those rear tires late. So, Soup, that's why I believe to win here tonight, you not only need to be fast, but you also need to make those calculating moves to ensure you have something to work with when it matters most.
So we're going 80 laps. How does that play into the race?
Yeah, it's going to be long for a track of this size, and what I believe it's going to do, these cars they will go through some handling changes tonight. It does appear they start out really loose. If you overdrive the car early, you can really wear out those rear tires. The car does go through a phase where it gets tight through the middle of the run, but I think if you have not taken care of those tires early, you're going to be struggling late. You're going to lose a lot of grip. So tires could be a factor here tonight.
Qualifying still going on. Let's take a quick look at the points as we get near the end of the season tonight and 2 more. You see what we talked about? There he is, Dalton Williamson sitting at the top. It's took him a long time to get there. He has nothing but top fives this season except for one bad race at New Hampshire, which he can drop. In comparison to that, Stout has a handful of races where he's finished 7th or 8th, even in the double digits. Plus, he missed last round due to technical difficulties. So he is struggling, but there's still plenty of time for Teapot to get back in there. Then you see, well, he's living up to his nickname, always there, Fred Leclerc. Somehow he manages to be up in the standings, sitting in third with former champ Jeff Aho behind him, and the man who finished second last season in the points, Ethan the Mountain Troutman. This should be a good one. The sun beginning to go down here in Richmond. Qualifying is done. We have a healthy field, 25 drivers here tonight. I guess this track's a little bigger, so it can support the larger field a little better, JR?
Yeah, absolutely. This track, even though it's only 3/4 of a mile in length, it gives you a lot of room to move around. There's room in the corners to run 3 or even 4 wide if it calls for it. I don't think we'll see that tonight because of that grip level through the corners, but you have plenty of room. And even on the front stretch, that D-shaped oval portion that we're looking at on the screen, there is tons of room to move around, and you may even see some drivers not run a traditional line in these modifieds as they go through there. They may run a little bit lower just to get an advantage because that is the shorter way around.
You know, looking at qualifying, one of Dalton Williamson's Achilles heels, probably his only Achilles heel, is he is not a great qualifier. And it struck him again. We'll talk about the grid in a minute, but JR, when you look at it, Williamson well down the order.
Absolutely. This is a track, though, where it won't matter as much as what it does in the past races so far this season. But like you said, it is Dalton starting on the bottom foot there. He's a little bit behind already.
Look at that beautiful sky there. The clouds are nice, beautiful night, shirt sleeve weather. Are one of the more attractive three-dimensional crowds in sim racing is on the iRacing service. They are some good-looking people out there. Okay, qualifying's done. Let's give you the grid right now. Starting on the front row, it's this hotshot rookie. Watch out for him. It's Hayden Austin. He's going to have Ethan the Mountain Troutman to his outside.
Inside row two, we've got Eric Stout looking to make up some ground. On the outside, Jeff Souza.
A pair of series veterans make up row three. It's Brian Bianchi and Ken Allen.
Rolling off in seventh place, we got Chad Alcaraz, and on the outside, Dalton Williamson.
There's Williamson back in eighth. Ninth and 10th, that's going to belong to Bradley Steffen and Bill Eggs Benedict.
Inside row six, we got Mark Poe, and on the outside, Patrick Stout.
In the Baker's dozen spot, it's Rob Higgins. Always there, Fred Leclerc has a way to go to get there. He's going to start in 14th.
Rolling off in 15th position, we got Joshua Buckley in the 13 car, and outside in that 21 car, Jeff Ahu.
Boy, way back for Rex Hoyle, but watch out for him. He's capable of moving up through the field. Kevin Alicia will flank him.
Inside row 10, we've got Bob Higgins, and on the outside in 20th will be Jeff Lemire.
He's too young to gamble, but he's got an ace and a face card. Hitting blackjack, it's Luke Logan Allen with newcomer Thomas O'Hara in the double duck spot.
Rolling off in 23rd spot will be Glenn Jameson, and on the outside 24th, Ricardo Cano.
And in the quarter century mark, fan favorite Brian Neff back in 25th position. Okay, JR and I are going to get our commentator's bonus. We got all the business out of the way before we go green. The perfectly mesmerizing Josie Kirkland behind the wheel of the pace car. 80 laps on tap. Big Boy Racing, no fast repairs. You break it and you bought it. There is an extra set of tires if these guys want to come in and make a tire change. My partner says that could be something. Don't want to do that under green flag racing, but if the caution flags at the right time, it could be a strategy. All right, Hayden Austin, notorious for racing fast early. Watch out for the 32. He waits for the flagman. Gather as you can say, coming to the cows. The horses are out of the barn. And a little bit of a bump there from Eric Stout. Let's go, Hayden Austin, says Teapot. And Hayden out there in the lead. Stout. Oh, Hayden goes high, opens the door, and it didn't take long, JR, for Teapot to get to the front.
Not at all. That wiggle from Hayden, that is exactly what we were talking about in the opening, is that, oh, we've already got a caution out there, Sue.
Oh, this is a big one. This collects lots of people. Starts up front, then the chain reaction gets them farther back. You see where it started. It started up front with, looks like the 17 and 27. Oh, it's always there. Fred Leclerc getting loose.
Yeah, you can see on the screen that gaggle of cars. This is when everybody is packed together, and yeah, just a checkup going in there. Fred Leclerc having the checkup for the cars in front. Looked like Jeff Aho was right behind him. You cannot see very well out of these cars, so he runs right in the back of Leclerc, and it just sends the rest of the drivers around. The drivers that really weren't there, they had nowhere to go, just no time to get these Tour Modifieds slowed down.
Rob Higgins went to the inside. He avoided a lot of the chaos. Collected in the mess was the 15. Luke Logan Allen caught in it. Jeff Aho caught up in it. The 27 of Kevin Alicia. I mentioned the 15 of Jeff Lemire. Kid Lemon Lime gets part of it. Boy, who didn't? Newcomer Thomas O'Hara gets into the mix, and Ricardo Cano.
Yeah,
A lot of names.
That's a lot of drivers, Soup, and the reason I mention that, normally we wouldn't really care for some of those drivers that got some light damage on the short tracks that we normally race on in the SK Modified. You can kind of overcome that, but this being a larger track in the Tour Modified, any type of damage is going to slow you down. Even if it's just damage that's slowing you down on the straightaway, it will cost you. So it's going to be hard for those drivers that were involved to try to have a decent finish as far as being able to race someone in position.
Yeah, is this track big enough and they go fast enough where the draft plays an effect, or not so much?
It does. It's not huge, but there is a slight effect, especially down the front stretch, a little bit down the back stretch. But the reason I would bring that up is not so much the draft that you gain from being behind somebody, it's the lack of air or downforce on the front of your car when you get to the corner. You do not want to be tucked directly behind somebody going into the corner. You want to either be offset a little bit where your inside is slightly lower than them, or the outside of your car is slightly higher. You got to keep some air on the front of that car in order to promote turn, in order to keep those front tires rotating and turning through the corner.
Okay, when we started the race, it was Hayden Austin on the inside of the front row with Eric Stout behind him. And Eric made it clear that he wanted to go put the pressure on Austin, and Austin made a mistake and opened the door for Teapot to get underneath him. Well, the roles are reversed. Let's see if Hayden gets into the back of Stout like Stout did to him. We wait. The flagman very slow with the flag, and Bianchi gets a good jump on the outside. The 14 side by side now with Stout on the inside. Stout in the 12 gets the advantage. The inside line prevails, and just like Stout did from the inside of row 2 to start the race, Hayden Austin is going to be able to take advantage to the guy who started on the outside of row 1, on the first row, as Bianchi now has to tuck into second. Let's see if we can get some green flag racing in right now, side by side. Good battle back here a little farther back. That's Chad Alcaraz. In the inside battle, they're trying to make it work with the 62 of Ethan the Mountain Troutman on the outside of him.
Yeah, absolutely, and I do believe early on in this race, the inside lane is where you're going to be, especially on starts and restarts, but after we get 5 or 6 laps going, we get some temperature in the tires, that outside line will start to come in, and the main reason for that is we see almost a 3-wide situation in the one, is that as those tires heat up, you get really tight on the bottom of the track. You need to be able to use that entire track to come off the corner and carry that speed. You're not going to be able to do that with someone on your outside.
Well, my partner was talking about how the inside line's the place to go. Bradley Steffen must be listening to the broadcast. He went to the inside and moved around both drivers of Alcaraz and Troutman. Now we go back. The light blue car in the middle there, that is Mark Poe. We've seen him race. We've seen him be fast. I think he has a little bit of seasoning he needs before he's going to be very competitive, but he seems to have some pace. That is Jeffrey Souza on the outside. He's going to have to tuck in. Now Souza's going to drop into 8th position. As I say that, he's not going to be able to, because here comes Rob Higgins in the 40.
Yeah, and you're starting to see that transition phase to where the lanes are starting to equal out. You're seeing drivers move all over the place. In that shot right there, we saw Ken Allen actually be in the middle, Higgins on the bottom side, and Souza up top. So these drivers, they're searching all over the place to find grip. And like I talked about, also trying to find some air, some clean air to have on front of the nose there. We see Dalton Williamson, he's kind of stuck at the moment.
Indeed. There are 2 disadvantages to having a bad qualifying run. Well, first, obviously, is you're going to start farther in the back, but you're in amongst it. If there's trouble to happen, well, it's going to happen around you or in front of you, certainly if you're back there. Getting really loose as the 49, Papa Kenny Allen saves it, but he loses ground as Justin Buckley goes underneath him. and also Rex Hoyle.
Yeah, there was a couple. I always see some side-to-side action with Buckley there and Higgins. But one thing we need to watch for, we saw it that last time through this section, turn 2, there is a little bit of a crest, a little bit of a rise as you come off of turn 2. And in these modifieds, as you throttle up, it will push you into that outside wall. We saw Higgins make some contact in front of Dalton Williamson a lap ago, so it's something we have to keep an eye on because it's only going to get worse through there. You've got to be super patient to get back to the throttle.
Okay, let's look at Williamson. The bad news is he's got 2 cars in front of him side by side. They are Mark Poe and Chad Alcaraz as he gets under Alcaraz right now. The good news is he's left the chaos that was going on behind him. My partner was talking about it. Oh, Joshua Buckley was getting into it with Rob Higgins, and I thought they were going to get into trouble, but they get it sorted out. This is where the action is. Not much happening up front. I can just tell you that Eric Stout is being chased by Austin. Bianchi keep in touch, and Bradley Steffen.
Yeah, everybody kind of getting single filed out right now, and this is where the car is really changing. We talked about it really loose at the beginning of the run. We see some drivers hitting that wall off of turn 2 right there, and that's what they've got to really pay attention to because they're losing front grip. The car is not rotating or staying glued to the racetrack as they throttle up out the corners. It's starting to push more, so that's promoting some of this single file racing that we're seeing at the moment, but that doesn't mean that we can't have some carnage. If these drivers hit that wall wrong, it can create contact.
Kenny Allen just got a spot on Rob Higgins, as does the 24. Let's look at this. Patrick Stout. That's Eric's younger brother working underneath the 40. And he gets it done, even though it might be getting a little harder to make that inside line. We're getting up really high. That was Jeff Ahu who cranked the wheel to the left. I thought he was going to run up into Higgins, but he got it turned.
Yeah, and up front we got Hayden Austin trying to retake that lead. He did not lead a lap yet. He is the pole sitter, but he gets the lead back from Eric Stout.
That is big news.
Yeah, you see, so Eric was able to reclaim it. Hayden has not led a lap yet, but what Hayden is doing, he's running some very unique lines, especially through 3 and 4. He's going way up top. At least he did the last time by, and he's getting a huge run to come onto the straightaway. It's creating a lot of momentum, and I think that kind of surprised Eric that somebody was even trying that or attempting that. And I think that's how Hayden initially got by, but now he's got to go to work because Eric's going to be paying attention to that.
So Stout has 6 wins to Williamson's 3. There are bonus points for winning. One of the reasons that Williamson was able to capture the lead when Stout was having trouble was not only was Stout having misfortune, but Williamson, partner, was able to go out there and get some wins. He's won the last couple times.
Absolutely, last couple of races, and he was hoping to carry that momentum in here, and he's still got a great shot. I mean, he started 8th. He actually fell back on that initial start, all the way back to 10th. So he's come from 10th up to 6th place. He does have a fast car. He is moving forward. But the downside is that Eric Stout's up here already leading, and he's got a lot of clean air on that car, which means he's able to control this race a little bit better, and he's able to maintain his tire wear a little bit better than what Dalton's going to be able to.
Let's go look at the 54. This is Rex Hoyle. Remember when we were running through the grid, I said, oh, that's a long way back for Hoyle. Watch out for him. Well, man, he is doing it. He's up 9 spots. He's our big mover. He just made his way around the 17 of Chad Alcaraz. And now next on his hit list, well, there's 2 guys. The 56 of Mark Poe, and then, well, I don't know if Dalton Williamson is ever on anybody's hit list, but he's coming, is Rex Hoyle. Oh, Luke gets loose out of corner number 2. Watch this, partner.
Well, he held on to it for a long time. There's a lot of drivers that wouldn't have been able to do that, but ultimately runs out of track and smacks him in the right rear corner. So something that we haven't touched on yet. I talked about these cars. They start off loose. It does go through that phase where you get tight, the car starts pushing. What happens when the car starts pushing is drivers tend to put more and more front wheel into it because they're trying to get the car to rotate and turn. And what that eventually does is gets the front so hot that eventually they slide and slide and slide, at some point during the corner, they get some grip and it kicks the rear end around. And if you keep doing that, you're going to overheat the right rear tires. And right rear tires, you usually bring up overheating when you go to get back on the throttle. That's when you're losing grip. But if you do not have any grip in the right rear tires, you lose grip on corner entry. And that's kind of what we saw with Luke there.
Nice two-wide battle. We get that sorted out. Jeff Aho picks up the spot underneath Patrick Stout. There is passes that are being made here, JR. I haven't seen anybody work the top side yet, but guys are diving it down and getting the inside to work.
Yeah, that's what's great about this type of a car. I mean, this track is usually great in any car, but in the modified, you can really search around, and that slight draft that you have, it's not huge, but that slight draft allows you to get runs on drivers and make moves like we're seeing here with Josh Buckley on the inside of Higgins. And once you try to make that move, it doesn't mean it's guaranteed. You see the side-by-side racing continuing here. Sometimes you're able to make that pass, and then the driver you just passed gets that slight draft and retakes the lead. So yeah, there's a lot of movement. It's fun as a driver. It can be aggravating as you're trying to move forward, but that's just something you have to anticipate, and it's almost a chess match. You have to be thinking ahead when you make that pass and how you're going to be able to make that pass so you maintain that position and don't lose it back to the driver.
Ken Allen just got around Chad Alcaraz. Looking around, I see some different racing line from them. Some of these guys are taking a real wide entry and getting a good corner exit. Some guys are taking it a little shallower. Let's go talk about what's going on up front. Eric Stout's having it his own way, but I'll be honest with you. Hayden Austin is putting the pressure on him. Yeah, he's a couple car lengths back, but I've been watching him. He's not letting Stout take it easy up there. Stout's got to run a quick pace to stay in front of the 32.
Yeah, absolutely he is. And I've been watching the lap times for the top 4 drivers, not just those top 2 that we're talking about, but the top 4. They're all running almost identical lap times, and they kind of trade who's the fastest. The last time by, it was Eric Stout. The time before that, it was all the way back in 4th place, which is Ethan Troutman. So these drivers, they are pretty equally matched. If we can get them all together closer on the screen, we might see some very exciting racing, because it's a little bit easier to hold off somebody when you're just racing one driver, but when you're racing 3 or 4 drivers, it creates a lot of mayhem.
Okay, this is sort of lapped car, but this is going to be interesting. Let's go look at the leader. He's got Luke Logan Allen to his outside. Teapot gets under him rather easily. And now he's got a bit of a cushion. Oh, no! Oh, my.
And that's not what Hayden wanted at all. I'm sure he had to lift a little bit, had a moment where he wasn't sure where Luke was going. So it did cost him some time, but you can see the different handling characteristics. Some drivers getting really tight off the corner, some drivers sliding around.
So the kid goes a lap down. He did his very best to hang on to it, stay out front as long as he could. So let me set the table for you. You have Stout that's now starting to run away with it. You got Austin, Bianchi, and Troutman that are trying to stay with him. Then you go back, you got a long gap, and you have Dalton Williamson. Now, Dalton Williamson was just in front of Mark Poe a few laps ago. Now Williamson is the number 1, starting to pull away from Poe. And then there is Rex Hoyle as he just gets under Bradley Steffen. I think the 54 needs a caution flag to be competitive, to get up there and maybe challenge for it, but he's up 10 spots. The 54 coming.
Yeah, that's a great point. So a lot of these drivers, they're not ones that were able to go and lay down a great qualifying lap, but they truly have good race pace, good race speed. And the drivers you were talking about, like Rex Hoyle, they're looking for something like a caution. They just need a caution to get themselves caught back up. And if they do that, then they could potentially continue to move forward, because they have the speed. They just had the disadvantage of starting further back.
Okay, we are halfway through. Are the drivers feeling the tires now? Are they saying if they've been abusing them? Are they harder to run?
I think for most of these drivers, and the answer is yes, but I think for most of these drivers, we're watching Troutman's actually made a pass on Bianchi. Is that they're going through the second transition. So car started out loose, moving around, it got tight, and I think now we're back to that loose condition because the rear tires will wear faster than the front tires here. And the drivers who took care of their stuff, they're going to be the ones like we're seeing Troutman on the screen move forward. They're carrying that momentum. The other drivers are going to start moving around. You're going to see that rear end kick out on corner exit, and they're just not going to be able to carry that speed. And that, again, it doesn't only affect them on corner exit, it affects them on corner entry because they can't carry that speed on entry either without their end wanting to come around on them.
Jared, we do the SK modifieds and then we do the tour modifieds. Whenever we do the tour modifieds, you always talk about the rear tires going. Is that because there's more horsepower?
Oh, absolutely. About 200, roughly 200 horsepower extra in these tour modifieds compared to the SKs. And that's what you have to be thinking about constantly. We see Rex Hoyle trying to make a move on Mark Poe, but in these cars, you've got to think about throttle control. And it's hard to explain to some drivers that are new to this type of car. But early in the run, you can go wide open. It feels like there's nothing you can do to cause those rear tires to slip. But if you abuse them early, you will struggle late in the run.
Good battle, Hoyle. That's Luke Logan Allen up top, the lap car, and one more spot for Rex.
And there's a caution out, Soup, and we're just past halfway, so this is going to create a lot of strategy for us, and it's going to pull a lot of those drivers that had lost track position back up to the pack.
I'm showing it as the kid. Was it him? No, we found it. There it is.
Yeah, Jeffrey Souza there just going around out of turn 2. And, you know, I talked about the car starting to go through that transition phase. You were pushing a little bit, so drivers kind of got used to that car pushing. He's super close to the yellow line, but he wasn't quite on it. Just having a lot of wheel into it on corner X as you apply that throttle will send that rear end around.
Mark Poe decides the pit stops are not for him. Everybody else, Jeff Aho's going to pick up some track position. As he doesn't take it, Josh Buckley stays out. Stout, Austin, Troutman, Bianchi, all the guys who are up front. Williamson comes in.
Yeah, so we see all the contenders that are normally up front. They are on pit road getting tires, and it does look like a lot of them are only taking the right side tires. That's going to create a handling difference in itself. We see Troutman's actually taking 4 tires. But those drivers that stayed out, the 3 drivers that stayed out, I kind of like that move. They didn't have pace to be up there leading the race just on pure pace alone. They now have that track position, and it doesn't mean they're going to be able to hold it. But, Soup, if we get a green flag run for about 20 laps and another caution, they're going to have tires that are so much better than some of these other drivers. I think they can come back through the field and get a better finish than what they were running before this caution came out.
So I'm looking at the tire sets available, and JR can help me on this. The iRacing says that there are 2 sets available. Now, does that mean that they have the set they start the race on, and then they have 1 set in the pits? Is that your understanding?
Yeah, correct. Yeah, these drivers only have 1 set of tires in the pits, and we saw a little bit of a mix there. Most of the drivers taking just right side tires, while some took 4. The drivers that took right side tires, I would try it. It is going to change the handling of the car, but what it's going to do is it's going to make that car freer through the center of the corner. These cars already start out loose in the beginning, so these drivers are going to have to be aware of that. They're going to have to make adjustments and not drive too hard in these opening laps because the car could get away from them.
We're getting the reports that Troutman put the right sides on, then they went up on the left side and immediately dropped. So maybe he decided that he didn't want those on the left sides as well. Okay, well, Mark Poe started in 16th. Correct myself, started in 11th. He stays out, so he cycles up to the front, as does Jeff Aho, season 12 champ. He's the 21. Stout is on the outside. Let's see what Granny Hips Buckley can do on the inside. Stout again, giving a bit of a punch there to Aho, saying, let's go. Stout tucks down into 3rd position. Aho's going to get stuck up top, it looks like. Maybe not. My partner says the top side comes in later. Look at the run from the top for Aho. I thought he's getting loose, but no, he keeps a good battle for second.
Yeah, absolutely. The drivers that are on the older tires, that outside line will work immediately. The drivers on new tires are having to be super patient because they are a lot faster through the center of the corner right now, but there just wasn't anywhere for them to go. We see Eric Stout get by Buckley this time.
So Buckley on the old rubber, stuck on the top side, or maybe that's where he wants to be, but he lost the position to Teapot. Then the 32 got through of Hayden Austin, and now the 1 of Dalton Williamson. And look at that. Williamson now has put himself into the conversation for the win as he's up within the top 5.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see Eric Stout. He's gotten into second place. He's going to chase down Mark Poe, obviously, because he's had the speed anyway. Now he's got the fresher tires. But Mark was able to put a good lead out there on that initial restart. And that's exactly what you need to do if you're going off of strategy compared to the other drivers. Make sure you get a good restart and a good lead, because he's been able to lead multiple laps here, and it puts him in a better position when Eric catches him, that he's got room to maneuver around and not slow himself down trying to race Eric Stout.
Stout got there. Poe did not close the door. He did some polite racing, let the man with 6 wins and newer tires just kind of waved him through. Dalton Williamson in the mix right now. Underneath Aho. Hayden Austin and Aho get together. They keep it going straight.
Yeah, and we have not touched on this at all, but we saw Aho get into the front stretch wall. It does not damage his race car because he hit it with the side, but what it does is it slows you down immediately because you've got that Nerf bar scraping alongside the wall. It just comes to a screeching halt. You lose about 20 miles an hour, so he got passed by a lot of drivers just because of that wall contact.
Let's stay back here on Buckley and Aho because this is really heating up, and now getting in there is Rex Hoyle. Hoyle asking Buckley to get through. Go ahead, partner.
Oh, there's a big wreck coming off of turn 2. I saw it. The caution is out now, but that started back with Brian Bianchi, and I think Rob Higgins getting together. I think it sent Bianchi up the track into the marbles and very close to the wall and corner exit, and I think a lot of drivers came together. We see that contact right there. It sends Bianchi up the track. He's trying to get back down in line, but the other drivers were committed and just had nowhere to go. We see Bradley Steffen and Allen being involved in that.
Yeah, this is an unpreventable 3-wide. We don't like to see 3-wide very often. There's not much you can do on that. Kenny Allen was down below underneath Bradley Steffen. And then it happened to come up to Bianchi, who was off pace up top. They get together. It collects. Lemire gets in it. Rob Higgins sneaks through again. Boy, he's really good at avoiding trouble. Patrick Stout also involved.
Yeah, and we're going to see drivers come down pit road, kind of those drivers that didn't pit the last time are coming down now. Unfortunately for them, it's not going to be the advantage that they hoped for because they did not get a lot of laps in there. We might have gotten 12 to 15 laps. They really needed 20, 25 laps for this to be a big payoff. They are going to have an advantage, but I don't know if they're going to be able to come through the field as fast as they want to. So we'll have to see how this plays out.
Yeah, about 11 laps on that stint and maybe only 10 racing in anger. It's hard to tell as pit stops were made. It's hard to tell who is free of incidents. We know that Mark Poe is, so I think Buckley and Aho, I guess they're okay too. So Buckley and Aho and Poe down there in 14th, 15th, and 16th. Rex Hoyle, the driver we've been watching, up 11 positions, up to 6th. Okay, we have Patrick Stout now, and, well, look how, you know, the racing gods, they just managed to give you what you want to see. Stout and Williamson. Side by side.
the interesting thing about this, Soup, is we know they both took right side tires, and we've seen in races past in that situation, if we can finish this out under green, we're going to have at least 20 laps to go here. We've seen Dalton Williamson kind of have the advantage once they get those right side tires on and they get some laps under their belt. So this could be a very good battle, but it may not have to be a battle at all. It's all about this restart. If Dalton Williamson can get a good restart down into turn one, he's got a shot to make that pass early.
We wait. Oh, they are dead even on the start. My goodness. Uh-oh. Going 3 wide. Tucking down low. That's Ethan Troutman.
Oh, and a big wreck behind these drivers, but Dalton Williamson getting hit and up into the wall.
I think Williamson backs out of the 3 wide incident and then gets down into Hayden Austin.
Oh yeah, and this may have came for some drivers that just took fresh tires, but whatever the case, there was a checkup going into turn one, and we can see the 43 just carrying a lot more speed than the drivers ahead. That's where the contact initially started, and it unfortunately collected the drivers that were on that alternate pit strategy. So it's going to be hard to tell if there was any difference in those tires at this point.
And then we're looking at the 3 wide. There's Troutman down low. Not sure how iRacing is going to score this. Let me take a peek and see if they're giving him the... They are. They're awarding Ethan Troutman the lead.
They do. The good thing about the caution coming out is that Dalton's going to get his spots back all the way up to 3rd place. He's not going to fall back as much as he would have if we stayed green after that wall contact. The bad news is that he did have wall contact. It looked like he hit it pretty hard with that right front. So he might actually have a slight toe issue compared to where the car started. And normally that toe issue will promote a tighter race car. So I don't know that that's what he's going to need to be able to make passes. But he is on that inside lane. Maybe he can do something going into turn one like we saw Troutman do on the last restart.
Impressive. The lights are still flashing. So with this opportunity, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner, our leader here. Ethan, do you have a copy?
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
That was impressive, baby. Started back there, went to the inside, got them both.
Yeah, I felt good this whole race, even on the late run. Taking those 2 tires, I lost a lot of spots and I was worried, but got back to 3rd pretty quick. And I figured, you know, that situation, passing him might be the easiest way to do it, and it worked out. Just got to hope he doesn't try to pull the same move on me.
Partner, you got anything for my guy?
Yeah, Ethan, hey, you guys took those right side tires. Have you noticed, though you've not been green very long, but have you noticed any change in the handling or difference in the driving line you might have to be making?
It's definitely handling better than 4 old ones. But I was getting pretty good rotation on the old tires. I'm just going to keep running my same line. I hope it keeps the tires fresh and gets me the last 16, 17 laps here.
All right, they're doubling up. Go get them.
Thank you.
Love that we can do those caution flag interviews. Tells us a lot. Often it just confirms what my partner's been saying without talking to him. Okay, we're going to be going green, working lap number 65 when we come to the line. And they get a good start. Troutman on the inside, Stout on the outside. Williamson is back. How healthy is the car? He doesn't seem to have much bite on the inside right now. Maybe he just doesn't like it down there, but he fights back. The battle is for second. The number 1 looks pretty strong. Stout's going to try to go up top. Williamson on below. They are held up by Troutman. And we got another caution.
Yeah, another caution, this time going into turn 3, and be interesting. I think Eric Stout's going to get that second position back instead of Dalton being 51 there. But you can see a little odd there. I'm not sure what was going on, if Bianchi thought he was going to follow the car ahead. It looked like Bianchi moved down a little bit into the inside car and created that contact with Fred Leclerc. See if we can get a better view here. Oh, I see. So I think that was Kevin Alicia initially,
Yeah.
and there was some slight contact down the straightaway, and that slight contact just created a little bit of a bobble from the 14 that ultimately sent the 14 back into the 27, and that's what led to that. And unfortunately, a couple of drivers getting caught up in that one.
So they take it hard, and then Alicia or Leclerc bounces right back up into the track and collects some other drivers. Yeah. Finally, the 43 gets caught in one. You can't avoid them all. Bob Higgins was doing a good job of getting out of the chaos that was in front of him all race long. Well, so how does iRacing score it? Troutman, Stout, Williamson on the inside of row 2.
Yeah, you know, to be fair on this, for a Dalton Williamson standpoint, he doesn't have to go up there and pass Stout or win this race with the way the points are working out right now, as long as Stout doesn't win, because that's where the bonus points come into play. So as long as Stout doesn't win, Williamson just needs to make sure he stays in close proximity to Stout at this point.
Well, he got away lucky with the incident there. There was all going on around him, and he put it in the wall, but the number 1 seems pretty competitive. And I'm telling you to watch out for the 54. Rex Hoyle up there in 5th. He's come a long way, 12 spots. Another driver that's under the radar but up 15 positions is the rum runner, number 63, Glenn Jameson. He's back there in 8th position.
Yeah, you know, races like this where you kind of get some of those odd cautions where you have a lot of contact, you had drivers on different strategy, it can promote a race where drivers that don't normally finish up front start to have that opportunity. And you spoke on it, drivers like Glenn Jameson, even Bill Benedict. It's been a little while since those drivers have had good finishes. Races like this can get some momentum on their side, and it can really turn around the end of the season and get you going.
Get ready for the start. I don't know if they had tires, but Luke Logan Allen and Mark Poe were in 7 laps ago. Don't know if they had tires to take. Here we go. Troutman with a good start. We are right back where we left off. Stout on the outside, Williamson underneath. Oh, Troutman gets loose. Now that's going to open the inside door for Dalton Williamson if he wants it. He races very conservatively, does not force the issue, but he has a wheel inside of Troutman. Troutman knows he's there. Williamson continues to press the issue. Troutman does not cut him off. Back in the popcorn position, watching is Teapot. Stout looking for anywhere to go. Stout now on the back of Williamson, gives the number 1 a bump. Says, let's go. Williams says, be careful, don't hit me too hard. I don't want to drift up into Troutman. They come across the line. Troutman, or Williamson gets credit with leading the lap, and I think he's going to try to finish the pass. Oh, JR, this is some tight racing.
Super tight racing up front. They avoid contact. This is kind of what we want to see. And from the perspective of Dalton Williamson, I'm not sure he really wants to complete this pass, because if they run side by side, it's going to be more difficult for Eric Stout to try to do something.
Indeed, there's nowhere for Teapot to go. And right behind him is the man on the move, Rex Hoyle, now up into 4th. Can they continue to race Cialis Bathtubs through 3 and 4? Williamson on the inside, Ethan the Mountain Troutman on the outside. 3-time champion behind them in the popcorn position, looking for anywhere to go, and there is nowhere to go. Look at Troutman take it down wide, force it in there, but he loses momentum. And now Dalton Williamson has the lead all to himself. Troutman now on the inside.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, on the outside.
Yeah, Dalton doing an arc going into turn 1 to try to get that good angle and almost led to contact between him and Eric Stout, but now he's able to pull away, and you see Stout and Troutman are side by side. It's going to slow Stout down just a little bit if he can't get this completed.
Oh, Troutman gets very loose, and that's going to allow... That's Rex Hoyle now underneath into 3rd position. Is also going to bring around Hayden Austin. This is exciting stuff. Williams now with a 1 car length lead over Stout.
Yeah, inside 5 to go. This is when the pay window opens up, so drivers are pushing hard. They're not trying to save anything right now, and that's what's producing some of this great racing that we're seeing. Every driver right now, they are taking every run as they get it. They're not holding anything back.
Rex Hoyle, I've come so far. I've worked so hard. I've made it up to third. Can I have a few more laps to get this done? Series organizers say no. Oh my goodness, Stout gets into the back of Williamson, but they keep it going.
Yeah, and that opens up almost an opportunity for Rex Hoyle. Rex might be able to get there on the inside of turn 1. I think he might be there.
Oh, Stout cuts him off. Stout now has 2 things to worry about: Williamson in front and Hoyle behind him. Again, another suggested racing line from Stout. He's working hard. Boy, he's right on Williamson. He gets him squirrely. Williamson has to go up the track, but he keeps the momentum going. The number 1 is too hard. There are 6 more corners to get this done. Stout looks to the top. We have a caution.
Big wreck, and it was with Rex Hoyle, who had an amazing run going. I didn't see what initiated that, but definitely Rex Hoyle's night's going to be over. We see going into turn 1 here, I believe Hayden Austin is trying to get to the inside of Rex. Rex was trying to do a little bit of an arc over-under type move through the corner, and that just led to contact. It takes a lot of drivers. So Bill Benedict, Ethan Troutman, Kevin Alicia, they're all involved in that one.
Can we get a look at this a second time when we're done? Director, if you're able to go on board with the 63 of the run runner, Glenn Jameson. This is some weaving to get through this. Let's see if we can dial this one up for you. We're on board. I thought he got through clean. I guess not. Was that Jameson? No, that was Rex Hoyle.
On board with Rex Hoyle there, so that was his perspective, and you can see once the car came around, there was nothing he could do about it.
Now we'll try it here with the run runner. You make the decision. Go high, go low. They're flying all around. That's how you do it.
Sometimes it is definitely better to be lucky, and you just get lucky sometimes with the moves that you make. And that was definitely a good one. It's going to move him all the way up into the 4th position.
Well, I guess we're having a green-white checker, eh?
Definitely going into overtime. And the thing about this series is that we could have a total of 3 green-white checkers. That's the number that they allow. So this will be the first attempt. We'll see if we get through cleanly on that first lap. As long as we take the white flag, the next one will win the race.
Would not surprise me if we don't have another one. Quickly going to talk to the run runner. Glenn, that was a nice little dodge through there. Let's do it real quick because we don't want to distract you. That was fun.
Hey, thanks. Yeah, man, that was amazing. I can't believe I came through the other side. That was just point and hope, so it worked out. We'll see how it goes here.
You got anything? You're up to 4th. Got anything for the guys?
I think I got a little bit, but we'll have to see. I mean, it's tough out here. I got 2 laps. I think if I can hold tight, point it straight, I think I'll be all right.
All right, go get them. This should be fun. Well, we're giving you what you want. The man who has led the points for most of the season, Eric Teapot Stout on the outside. 3 championships to his name, the last 2. The man on the inside, the prodigal son. Where he's been, we don't know. What he's been up to, we don't know. But he's back, and he's now the point leader. He has 4 championships, and he's won the last 2 races. The pace car is in. 2 laps. Stout is rubbing and just roughing up the number 1. Stout with a little bit of an advantage now going into 1. The advantage grows. The momentum on the top. Williamson, the car has been in the wall. The number 1 still looks healthy. They come out of corner number 2 side by side. We got another caution.
Yeah, we've got another caution, and I believe what that did is it automatically gave Eric Stout the lead. So we're going to have a flop for the top positions up front. We'll see what this caution was for.
think. You got it,
yeah.
Jer?
Yeah, it started like we see the end of it there with Bill Benedict and then the 43 of Bob Higgins getting together, but looked like that started a little further up with Chad Alcaraz. So we'll watch that white car with the pink numbers. Chad enters a little bit higher, gets into the side of Ken Allen. What that does is it creates a checkup. So we see Rob Higgins behind him have to slow down, and then the other drivers behind just did not see it in time, and that's what led to that final contact with Benedict and Bob Higgins.
Bob Higgins has spent the whole race avoiding trouble in that beautiful petty blue STP red number 43. But the last couple ones he's been caught up in. My partner is right. It doesn't seem fair, but iRacing is going to score Eric Stout as the leader.
Yeah, and that's something Dalton's going to have to remember how that restart went down, because he needs to now try to duplicate what Eric just did on that previous restart. He's got to be side by side. He's got to try to get the jump on the restart, because the thing is, in this series, we don't go on the leader out of turn 4. We go when iRacing throws the green flag, so a lot of that comes down to reaction time. So if he can get a good reaction time and get ahead of Stout going into turn 1 and 2, he can get that lead back.
If you're out there and you're near the liquor bar, go ahead and pour yourself a shot of Captain Morgan's if you can, because the run runner, he's ready to vulture one. If Stout and Williamson get together or even slow each other up, the 63 or maybe even the 32 of Hayden Austin could steal one.
Yeah, and that's the row that I want to watch, is row 2 right there. We know Hayden, it's been a while since he's won a race, all the way back to early in the season. Also, Glenn Jameson having a great run tonight. I don't know if he'll be aggressive. I think more than anything, he might try to set back and see what happens. But if Hayden tries to make a move, it could create some contact up front that allows Glenn to scoot on by.
Okay, before we went green for that last restart, the 12 of Eric Stout was really down low, right against Dalton Williamson. And look at Williamson has given him no room right now. The number 1, Dowd's got his left side tires on that white line. He's got him pinned. This is where I am. You are down low. Stout with a good run. Williamson trying to get some momentum. He's going to be slow, and that allows the run runner to get inside of him. Glenn Jameson now up in second. The momentum to the top side to Williamson. This is what Stout wants. Bonus points for winning. Stout's got to pick up the win. Williamson now in second. The white flag is out. We're going to finish this under green. Williamson back into second. He's got 2 more corners to get it done. Let's see how hard he pushes the number 1. Does he dive it down deep? Half a car length back. Not going to get there. Anyway, Teapot Stout get the win. Williamson will take second. A great finish from Glenn Jameson for third. That was good. Luke Logan Allen finishes on the lead lap in 12th spot. This was fun. The racing is over. Our broadcast is not. We'll take a short break. You do not want to miss the interviews that will come after we run down the entire finishing order. Then we'll put a lock on the gate. You're watching the Virtual Grip Network. From Richmond Raceway, sanctioned by the Red Light Racing League, it's the Virtual Grip Network's Live As It Happens 16th round coverage of the Skitter Creek Modified Series. It's season 15. Okay, the results are in. It was a humdinger of an event. Let's give it to you right now. Eric Stout is your winner. Dalton Williamson is second. They sit second and first in the points, but now the gap is a little closer. The run runner, Glenn Jameson, in third with Ken Allen and Rob Higgins going fourth and fifth. Nice run from both of those guys. Rounding out the back half of your top 10, Hayden Austin, Ethan the Mountain Troutman, Chad Alcaraz, season 12 champ Jeff Aho, and the Raven Mark Poe.
Yeah, coming home in 11th place, we have Bill Benedict running up front late there. Luke Logan Allen troubles early in the race, but is able to come back and finish 12th. Bradley Steffen will come home 13th place, the first car multiple laps down. Kevin Alicia will be 14th place. Rex Hoyle comes home in 15th. Bob Higgins 16th. Jeff Lemire comes home in 17th. Fred Leclerc 18th. Brian Bianchi will come home in 19th, and Jeffrey Souza will round out the top 20.
30-plus laps down for these final five. Josh Grenny hits Buckley. Patrick Stout. Ricardo Cano got caught up in an incident early, as did newcomer Thomas O'Hara. We hope he comes back next week and has a better run. And fan favorite Brian Neff did not take the grid. With that said, let's go ahead and talk to our race winner. We'll dial up Eric Stout. Eric, congratulations, 80 laps. What do you think?
I wish we went green. I was like almost a second clear of Hayden and just running my race. And I know that Ethan was making moves and Dalton had come from, I don't know, like 12th to 10th or something, but I definitely would have taken my chances on a long green flag run. I didn't really want to have to deal with all that mess at the end, but Dalton and I were just joking the bumper length, he clipped me at Iowa week 1 at one of the late restarts, but I was able to get him back. I guess he returned the favor there. So yeah, I mean, good bounce back, obviously, after just like a total disaster 2 weeks in a row. Still scratching and clawing. I probably got to win at least one more if I'm going to be able to catch him. After the issue last week with the power outage and all that. But I think we probably put on a pretty good show for you. It's always a good time up there racing with Dalton. I really got to give him some props. We've raced hard and we've raced clean. I cut him a little bit of a break there towards the end on I don't know, maybe like 10-5 to go or something like that. He threw a block that down the front stretch, but I was telling Pat, like, during the caution, I was like, if it comes down to a coin flip, like you wreck a guy, like, you probably look like a jerk to have to field, and I don't want to win like that. I want to beat him straight up. I know he wants to beat me straight up, so yeah, man, just gotta hopefully keep the momentum rolling into Oxford, and then just give myself a shot at Linear. That's what it's all about right now.
All right, well, the point gets a little bit tighter, so good Jill. We'll see you down the road.
Thanks, Soup.
Eric Stout, your winner. If you ever wanted a broadcaster in the booth, if you're ever thinking about doing something fishy, the guy who can always see the other side of the coin is my partner, J.R. Shepard. So don't be scared about what we're going to do in the booth. We got a sympathetic voice sitting next to me. J.R., who you got?
All right. Hey, Dalton. Hey, congratulations, man, on the second place run. I know it's not exactly what you wanted, but talk me through. You started around 8th place, fell back a little bit. You came all the way through the field, got the lead late, and then that one caution after the restart kind of allowed Eric to get ahead of you there. Do you wish it had stayed green? Because I think you may have had something.
I mean, I do. I also wish the timing loops didn't work how they worked. Eric got me back from Iowa when that happened to Eric. We were joking about it because I felt like I was ahead of him out of 2 and it gave him back the lead. So I don't know. I'm just happy he got to run. I'm happy we get to battle it out and he got all the stuff fixed. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, absolutely. A great run, and you're continuing to do what you need to do at the end of the season for the points to work out the way that they are. I want to take you into next week, because I think next week qualifying is going to be super important. We go to Oxford Plains, back to the SK Modified, 100 laps. What are your thoughts going there? It's going to be a tough track, I think.
Qualify up front and stay out of trouble with that little left-hander, as I like to call it, because all you do is turn left.
It is. It's going to be a lot of turning. You're going to get a little dizzy probably running there, but yeah, absolutely, man. Go work on the qualifying, and maybe we'll have you back in the booth next week.
Yep, appreciate you guys as always for broadcasting. Premier Setups, Platinum RV Services, my cousin Chris and his wife Meredith, Colton, Macy, and Miley, and the family for watching. And I'll see y'all next week.
All right, guys. That's Dalton Williamson. He's our second place finisher here tonight at Richmond. Soup, who you got?
I got a man who went from 23rd to 3rd with 7 combined championships in front of him. I don't know. Yeah, it's not a win, but it's close to a win. Glenn Jameson, well done.
Thank you, Soup. I'll tell you what, feels like a win, and I am so happy to be talking to you at the end of the race instead of somewhere in the middle. This feels amazing. I swear it's like winning.
You know, there was a minute there when I said, because Stout and Williamson weren't shy about mixing it up, that maybe you or Hayden Austin might be able to vulture a win.
I was watching that, on that second to last restart. They were knocking each other, pushing, shoving, whatever. And I'm like, the way this goes, this could open up a hole and work out. I'm just going to sit here and see what happens. And then we had that immediate caution again, and I got fortunate. I got the position on that, put me in 3rd on the bottom, and then it was just I'm just going to have to send it and hold on and hope it works. And tonight it worked out. I'm thrilled. I'm absolutely thrilled.
There were 4 multi-car crashes in this race that collected 3 or 4 cars, maybe 5, 6 at a time. Did you get involved in any of them?
I didn't. I had a couple of 04s, whatever, right? So they were in front of me, and I was able to kind of weave my way through. So it was a little tricky, but kind of moved my way through, and so no damage. Just like I say, a couple 04s, sort of as I was going through, but the car was fine, and came out the other side, and it was just amazing.
Yeah, we saw one for certain that it looked like there was nowhere, and then there was room for you. Hey, congratulations!
Yep.
Yeah, congratulations on the podium. It's good to talk to you at the end of the race, and let's get another one before the season's over.
I appreciate it very much. Thank you. It's great to be up here talking to you. It's a great job you guys do. I love to go back and watch these broadcasts. I hope everybody enjoys it. It's a fantastic league. I got to thank all these guys that race this. They're great racers, and just a lot of fun. It's real tough, and it's just great to be here. I'm thrilled. I'm not going to sleep all night. We're going to go party we're going to go party. Me and the pit crew are going to go party.
Thanks for the compliment, and I agree on the league. They do put on a good show. Thanks a lot. Good luck coming up. Glenn Jameson.
Thanks.
3rd place finisher tonight. That's going to do it for us. So let's go ahead and talk about what's coming up. We're going to show you on the screen. You want to broadcast? My goodness. There's ones on top. There's ones on the bottom. Oh, they're spread out all over. I don't know. I guess somebody got an end-of-line penalty. Oh, those are coming soon. Look at those. All right, watch it. We got all sorts of stuff happening around here. Pick a race you like. Enjoy it. We'll try to do the best we can. We hope you enjoyed the broadcast tonight. On behalf of Lowell Jewell, my director, and my partner, J.R. Shepard, and all the other little faces you see that are part of the Virtual Grip Network family, we hope you enjoyed the show. If not, we'll try to do better next time. Until then, have fun storming the castle.